Okay, welcome back here. This is kind of a off the wall. It ain't really a project, just something I had laying around here that it wasn't running. What I got here is it's a Poulan Pro. It's the PP335. It's just a Weedeater. I purchased this, I think about 3 summers ago, maybe, and I used it. It's a pretty good Weedeater, but I think I might got about 3 months out of it before the winter time got, and I put it up. And the following spring, I went to get it out to use it, and it wouldn't. It would start, but it wasn't keep it. What you couldn't idle it up. And I piddled around with it on the. You can't really. Well, you can barely see them. I don't know. I got messing with the carb on it. I don't know if you can see this right there. These are the needle valves on it. I actually went in there because you have to have a special tool to adjust these with, but instead of buying a special tool, spending money on that, I just took this cover off. I actually took the carburetor off, and I got several here. Just give you an idea of what I've done. This is about what come off of it. You can see right there. I actually went there and took a little grinding wheel and a Dremel and actually just cut a slit straight across there through the top of the screws on the needle valves. That way I could just use a small flathead screwdriver to adjust them. But anyway, like I was saying, I could start it, but as soon as you go to rev it up, it just bogged down and die. And I don't really know hardly anything about little small engines. I have taken a few apart and just kind of piddled around with them and rebuilt these little carburetors, about as far as I've ever really done anything. But I took this to a guy to see if he could get it running, see if he could figure out what was wrong with it. And he's got all kinds of mowers and all this junk lying around. He's constantly working on stuff like this. And I went back to pick it up, and he told me that basically it wasn't no good. The piston walls were all scarred up and scratched up in, and it just wouldn't work anymore. So I brought it home, and I got it running. I got to fiddling with the carburetor on it. I couldn't get it to do nothing, so I was getting ready to throw this thing away, and I decided to heck with it. I'm just going to tear into it, see if the piston wall was actually scratched. Of course, I've done got this, but I took this thing completely apart, and the more and more I thought about it, I do have a compression tester I put on this thing, and it was putting out about 145 psi. So according to what I've seen on the internet, that's pretty much like what a brand new one would put out. So it was fine on the compression part. All the fuel lines are like brand new. The bulbs, there's nothing wrong with any of it. Even though I rebuilt the carburetor up, there wasn't nothing wrong with it. I replaced the filter in the tank. Cleaned the filter in the air thing. So I said, well, I'm just going to see if how bad the piston walls are scratched. Maybe about re-ring it. So I took the part and took the muffler off. I looked in there. Well, lo and behold, the piston walls looked like it's brand new. There wasn't a thing wrong with them. So I got thinking about this muffler even more. So when I had it off, I took some carburetor cleaner, sprayed a whole bunch inside of it while it was off, of course. Shook it around a whole bunch, cleaned a bunch of junk out of it. Then I got to looking. You can probably see it right there. There's a little screen. I got thinking of something about what I guess is what they refer to as a spark arrestor. And what it basically is, I guess, is just like a little screen. What I was going to do, I was going to take my screwdriver, stick it inside the porthole, and I was just going to punch a great big hole in it to open this thing up to see if it would make any difference. And of course, this little piece started rising. I can't get it out of there right now, but right there on the very edge of it, you can pry it up a little bit, and that little screen does slide out of there. And which I can't pull it out right now, but that little screen, if you take this cover off, you can pry the edge of it up, and that little screen, it'll just slide right out of the exhaust port there. and it was completely clogged up. So I took carburetor cleaner and a little wire brush. I cleaned it up completely, shoved it back there and gave it one pull, and this thing fired up just like a brand spanking new one. So, and I had went out and bought me a new Weedeater last year. Spent about $250 on a pretty good Weedeater, which now I wished if I'd known that before I wouldn't have bought it, but now I've got me a spare Weedeater, and this is a pretty strong running Weedeater. It does have attachments for it, but yeah, just for a little information, I tried to look up on the YouTube. Of course, I didn't look real good, but I haven't seen any videos on there telling about this little, and I suppose that's what they call the spark arrestor, but it's just a little bitty piece of screen there, and it was completely clogged up. So it was allowing it to start, but you couldn't rev it up. I guess it was just choking it out, wouldn't let it breathe. So I got it cleaned. Man, this thing starts up just like a brand new one. So just a little information for people out there looking for the same problems. Got one running that won't rev up. That's one possibility of it. That could be wrong, and it didn't cost a single penny to fix it. Now I got my Weedeater back running again. So thanks for watching.